Three players. ProJared, Commander Holly, Grump King.
Jesus, coming on strong, Jared.
Jared, get the fuck away from my wife. I'll kill you.
So our favorite wife-stealing pedophile gamer finally responded to all the allegations he's been getting over the past week. And, well, he plays the victim card. He actually blames his wife for all the shit he's been getting. On May 17th, he tweeted out this: "I'm deeply sorry to anyone who's seen the accusations, vitriol, or dick pics that my former partner Heidi and others have been posting online since Wednesday, May 8th, 2019. The truth is that Heidi and my marriage has been in a bad place for some time. I never wanted any of these details to become public, for both Heidi but mostly my well-being. But they have, and the accusations being made must now be addressed. A few years ago, Heidi asked me to be in an open, polygamous marriage. I now recognize that this request and my willingness to go along with it was an unhealthy attempt to justify me sending dick pics to underage fans. Heidi has taken several casual partners, and has been in a more serious relationship with another partner since 2017. Whether done to make her own actions feel justified, or because she genuinely believed it would help build my self-esteem, Heidi suggested that I also engage with other women. Heidi encouraged me to tell Holly that I was developing feelings for her. But when I did, things changed with Heidi. She became angry and vindictive, and did not want to see or speak with Holly anymore. She called me a cheater and claimed that I was destroying our marriage because of my affair, even though she continued to have other relationships with other partners. I never wanted to destroy our marriage, and I spent months after that doing what I could to repair it through couples therapy and extensive individual therapy. Those close to me have witnessed Heidi's behavior towards me on many occasions, and have begged me to leave for some time. I was many things during this time, including embarrassed, scared, and broken, but I was never the abuser. I made several attempts to leave, starting in October 2018, but each time she refused to let it happen, threatening to destroy my career and to harm others if I left. Despite all of this, I tried to end things amicably. I helped Heidi find a new place to live, and paid the initial deposits. I bought her a car to facilitate her independence. I formally filed for divorce on May 13th, 2019, even though on May 8th, 2019, you tweeted that you have already filed for divorce. And I have instructed my attorneys to make sure she receives her fair share of what I earned while we lived together. I genuinely never wanted any of this to happen. I'm sure you didn't, Jared, but I have finally realized that I have no other choice. Even though I've been tempted to put information out online that shows my side of the story, I didn't want to further stroke the fires of what should have been a private matter between us, which begs the question why you made this public in the first place, but my hope is that both of us can continue to pursue therapy and come out of this unfortunate situation better people. But I want everyone to know that any other interactions I may have had with any women were known to and encouraged by Heidi, especially the interactions I had with underage girls. That was definitely approved by my wife, and were had with only the purest and lawful intentions. Very lawful of you to groom underage people, but I am sorry to everyone that I disappointed. I realize that as a public figure, I am held to a higher standard. Or maybe everyone's held to the standard of not being a fucking pedophile. I have made my share of mistakes, but I only ever tried to do what's best for me and Heidi. Aw, what a beautiful and amazing statement from ProJared. It seems like everybody in the replies genuinely feels bad for you and all the shit you've gotten out of the situation, and I'm sure your sub count will turn around after a statement like that. Jesus, as you can tell, my opinion on the statement is pretty bad, but let's actually hear what Heidi has to say. Well, I've already seen screenshots of Jared's latest statements. Just count the number of times he said Heidi compared to addressing his actions. I'm shocked that he's still even trying. This is full of misdirection and lies. He said he only acted with my approval, and this is nothing short of bullshit. It's legitimately insane. I told him in no uncertain terms that I was not comfortable with polyamory. He proved to me that he could not be transparent with me. Countless people can corroborate this. It's true that I knew from the start that he and Holly were interested in each other. I called them out in January 2018. I said, address this because I'm not blind and I'm not an idiot. I wasn't comfortable with it. I was trying very, very hard to accept my husband. Holly is the reason our open relationship didn't work, because she told Jared that she only had feelings for him, despite being married at the time. And my response to that was, holy shit, absolutely not. If Jared wants to keep any of this private, he's welcome to stop gaslighting me and shifting blame for everything he has absolutely and unequivocally done. Because there's evidence far and wide. His statement admits he was with Holly. Well, she had me blocked, and was vague tweeting vitriol about me for months. So which part of that was I aware and approving of Jared? Even with Holly out of the equation, I was completely unaware of him having sexual interactions with fans after late 2017. And the reason I thought it ended then was because I demanded he end it. Because it's unacceptable. We then have some retweets from Heidi, the first one being by Amazon Manny, who says, he needs to be talking to a lawyer, not Twitter. He sent and asked for nudes from minors. He may have charges pressed. This bullshit campaign should be the last thing on his mind. He's making himself look more unstable. Mike Morency says, dude sent nudes to minors. That essentially cancels out everything he has to say. S. Tracy said, he used a lot of words to basically just say, I cheated because my wife made me, which is always what cheaters say. If my partner had been better, I wouldn't have made these choices. Tracy continues by saying, he's also made sure to include all the good he's done for you. I paid her deposits, etc. Well, you're married. You both pay deposits. You also contributed to his success and have your own. He can't take credit for that and remove that from you. Heidi then responds to this by saying, I literally couldn't move out without him paying for these things because he's had financial control of me for years. He encouraged me to be dependent on him and now wants accolades for caring for my basic needs? That's not generosity. I'm entitled to 50% of our shared wealth. He promised me a life together, betrayed that plan, and now is like, well, I paid her deposits so she's not homeless. The level of entitlement is insane. It's amazing that I haven't shown proof. I don't need to. The internet did it for me. But he still claims that the allegations are all from me. I think that really shows his mental state, and his bizarre insistence that it all comes back to me. Next up, those underage fans totally bullied me into it. Jared has always used his money to quiet me down. If I was upset, it was, go get yourself something nice, and never, let's talk about it. This is his latest version of, I did right by her, meaning he gave me money instead of integrity, honesty, and faithfulness. I fought hard to keep the relationship because I wanted those virtues. He didn't give them to me. At this point though, I'll take the money. And for the record, I was his girlfriend before he ever received his first YouTube dollar. I was dating him while he was on unemployment. I stayed by his side as he rose to a level of fame I never expected. I didn't even know there would be YouTube dollars. David responds to this by saying, I love in the statement that he mentioned that Holly was indeed involved when she tried to make it seem like she wasn't a part of it and that we should believe her. He literally outed her in hopes to be seen as the victim. This dude is unbelievable, same with his lying skills. Heidi then responds, I've been banking on her turning on him to play the victim too. If we're lucky, they'll both try to out-victimize themselves in the public. Then Keemstar hops in with an interesting take on the situation. He first tweets out, ProJared has entered the chat, which is followed up by another tweet saying, can you stop making your side of the events in 150 tweets and make a video like a normal person so people can actually understand your point of view, Heidi? No one is gonna read 150 tweets or understand you. Heidi then responds, that's fine, Keemstar, I'm not giving you this story. To which he responds, okay, well, ProJared make one statement easy to understand and follow, so I will just read his. Good luck with your 150 tweets all over the place. Clearly, their relationship had a communication problem. Well, if you only listen to one statement from an abuser who's trying to victimize himself, maybe that's how you will see it. He continues by saying, listen, I'm trying to help you get a clear message out and you snapped at me. It's fine, I understand how upset you are with the situation. Just think about making a statement or video. I think it will not just help me, but help you too to get your message out clear. Just a dang old lizard responded by saying, oh, threats didn't work, so let me try pretending to be helpful. And then Keem responds with, I was helpful from the start, you complete moron, which is pretty ironic considering in this thread he says Heidi snapped at him and then he just snaps at somebody else. It's just a bit of projection there, Keemstar, if I do say so myself. Continuing on, he says, the internet has an attention span of a 14-year-old. If you cannot communicate correctly, you won't be heard. When I covered the story on Drama Alert, I'm not reading 150 tweets. If I do, people will click off the video. I speak the truth, and I don't care about anyone's feelings because of it. And then all of a sudden, based off this one tweet from a random that Keemstar was able to read despite his dyslexia, he started going on this tangent. He posted this tweet on Twitter. May 10th. Heidi. ProJared cheated on me with Holly. ProJared life destroyed. May 17th. Heidi. We're in a poly relationship, but he still cheated. Sorry, but this girl lied to us all. Danny responds to this by saying, you can still cheat in a poly relationship, depending on the rules that people set up in the relationship to agree to. Like, one rule most have from what I've seen is letting their partner know who and when they are hooking up with someone or something along those lines. Keem then responds to this by saying, yes, but ask yourself, why didn't she say she was in a poly on May 10th? And ProJared says open relationship, and clearly Jared has come to her explaining that Holly has developed feelings for him. So at some point Holly must have approved. Don't let people lie to you. And I assume the second Holly he mentions, he actually means Heidi, but moving on. People obviously start asking questions towards Heidi based off this tweet by Keemstar, and then she responds to those people by saying, polyamory requires transparency and consent. Otherwise, it's good old-fashioned cheating. People keep asking for clarification. We attempted polyamory, and then I shut it down in no uncertain terms. I've never had anything to hide from him, period. I did not receive the same transparency. Jared's statement insists he wants privacy, while adding tons of details solely to blame me for everything he did, after I had stopped talking about it already. I'm really lucky I got away. This is what I lived with privately, with no support. If you read my tweets from earlier today, and the past week, I've been clearly refocusing. I wanted to leave this, and him behind. I'm trying to make my art and build a future. I'm floored that he still wants to sling more shit. This late, this week. Someone then responds by saying, do you have any clue why it took him this long to make a response? Feels really weird that he'd wait so long to make any kind of counterclaim to the entire internet fucking him up over all of it. And then she responds with a pretty important tweet that she actually later deleted that says, probably because I ignored his legal threats with the deadline of today. And there was also a tweet from Heidi last week when everything broke on Twitter regarding ProJared that says he tried to force her to sign an NDA. So that behavior from Jared is pretty interesting to note. Shiny Kiwi says, in no way did he ever apologize to the other people around him. That doesn't mean just you, Heidi. He hurt Normal Boots in a way that Satch had to say, I'm out. And then also him and Heidi hurt the D&D live stream they were on. He hurt everyone, more than just one person got hurt. Heidi then responds by saying, I literally warned him. Others will be hurt by the knowledge of your adultery, your fans, and your friends who unwittingly enabled it. He ignored me, and acted like I was threatening him. Accountability is a threat to him. Blueberry responds to this by saying, just to clarify, the whole she's been in a relationship with another man since 2017 is complete bullshit, right? Just need to know to silence the other fools. She then responds, it's bullshit. He's exaggerating a relationship that I was completely transparent about, which was primarily a platonic moral support connection. There were no others. We attempted polygamy, sure, but my actions have never been in the same league as his. This is misdirection. People have asked if I'm gonna delete old content, photo shoots, videos, etc. that feature Jared and Holly. Nah, it all happened and this is the record of it. I have nothing to hide. I'm gonna make new memories to replace the bad ones. Someday I'll wipe Jared from any and all aspects of my online life. At the moment though, I'm still recovering from everything that's happened. It's fresh and it's still happening. I don't feel the need to hide or cover anything. That really only helps him. Ian responds by saying, ProJared claims you initially proposed a poly relationship. Is this true or false? ProJared claims that you had multiple lovers during the poly stage. Is this true or false? Heidi responds with, your questions are irrelevant, and it's a distraction from the fact that I ended it. I've been ignoring them because it's ridiculous to ask me to lay out my full romantic history when it has no bearing on Jared's actions. I never had anything to hide from him, period. He's the cheater. Someone else in response, just answer the questions. Why did you leave out this crucial information last week? If you can spill Jared's private life, you can spill yours. Then she responds, this is fucking silly. I got shat on for oversharing last week, and now you trolls come back to demonize me for not including irrelevant details that Jared lied about to spin things back his way. He's still trying to manipulate the truth. I included the info that matters. During my relationship, I was a small content creator married to a much more successful creator, and it affected the way I saw myself. I felt unworthy of the same support/opportunities he got. I feared people only saw me as Jared's wife instead of an independent artist. Among his YouTube friends, many people did see me as the wife, but not everyone. A few people saw past that and acknowledged me as someone with my own ideas and input. Those are the people who became and stayed my friends for the most part. Online, I tried really hard to create my own independent presence. It was never my intention to piggyback on his fame. which is why you don't see much of me in his videos. I wanted to maintain that space and show the world that I'm doing my own thing, not copying the guy I'm with. The rare times we worked together, it was usually in my wheelhouse. I made him a few costumes, and he filmed a few videos and sets that I built. I was happy to support him off camera and utilize my real skills for his benefit, to prove I'm an asset, not just in it for myself. I'm so grateful that I never lost sight of my own goals. I'm so grateful that I maintained my own hobbies and business interests. I'm grateful that my online presence has basically nothing to do with him, and I don't need him to keep working. Be yourself, everybody. And that's about it. So what do you guys think of these messages? Personally, based off these tweets and the tweets that Heidi made last week, I'm inclined to believe her. If you want a really good recap of what actually happened leading up to this point, I highly recommend a video by Treesicle. I'm gonna leave it in the end card to this video so you can check it out. If you want to laugh at ProJared some more, I do have some memes on my second channel, Boblax Live, where I usually live stream and talk about these certain topics before I end up making a commentary video here. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in another video.